of Kenya's most iconic animals are under attack.
You have people who are targeting to poach rhinos and elephants.
It's a battle with heartbreaking collateral damage.
So the little one, the mothers were killed by poachers.
As poachers become more sophisticated, those protecting the animals turn high-tech.
It's pointing right at us.
It's a dangerous job. You are following somebody who is armed. If he see you, he will just shoot you.
It's another busy week for the staff at Lewa Wildlife Conservancy. For almost 30 years, this has been a rare sight here on the slopes of Mount Kenya. But today, it is becoming more common. Africa is once again at war with poachers.
You have people who are targeting to poach rhinos and elephants. And these are the people that we are fighting with. That's a huge, huge challenge to us. It's a dangerous job. You are following somebody who is armed with an AK-47, and you know definitely that person, if he see you, he will just shoot you.
Elephant and rhino have walked the earth for nearly 50 million years. Now they are in urgent danger. In less than the lifespan of a single animal, both have been pushed to the brink of extinction by another species, humans. In effect, we are at war with ourselves for their survival. In the last poaching crisis in the 1980s, 80% of the elephants and 90% of the rhinos were brutally slaughtered. The elephants for their ivory, which was used in decorative carvings. The rhino for their horn, used in traditional Asian medicines. It took aggressive anti-poaching action, bolstered by a worldwide ban on the sale of both ivory and rhino horn, to bring an end to the slaughter. But a renewed global black market has once again put Africa on the front lines.
When you are talking of rhino poaching, that is a syndicate. You have the main dealers, and you have the brokers between, and then you have the gunmen, the people on the ground. Those are the people who can kill these animals. They are the poor people. They are people who are being killed. So what I can just tell the poachers, don't risk yourself, because we will bring all the technology that we can bring to stop the poaching.
This is where Kenya's Lewa Conservancy comes into play. Sitting in the shadow of Mount Kenya, it covers a modest area, just twice the size of Paris. Lewa is dedicated to protecting critically endangered animals. To ensure the rhino and elephant safety, the Conservancy is fenced in on several sides. On the front lines of the fight is Lewa's team of armed rangers who put their lives on the line to ensure these species don't disappear on their watch. The team at Lewa knows that the battle against poaching can't just be fought on the front lines as an armed conflict. The only way these animals will survive is to change the perception of ordinary people on a global scale. That these animals deserve a safe and free place in the wild. If they fail, these animals will go extinct.
This rhino, it was shot dead by somebody within our village. Our main question is, are we happy to see skeletons of animals, or are we happy to see animals feeding, suckling their young ones? That is my question.
A single gunshot from a poacher has enormous ramifications. When a mother is killed, the babies are left alive. In the wild, they are extremely vulnerable, unable to take care of themselves, and will quickly die or be killed. However, orphaned animals from all over Kenya get a second chance at Lewa.
This one 23 months, and this one 17 months, and all boys. The little one, the mothers were killed by poachers.
Few conservancies have the capabilities or the resources to care for them. It is a labor-intensive, expensive, long-term commitment. Lewa has caregivers who look after and protect these young rhinos 24 hours a day. The rhinos are assigned a caregiver. The young rhino imprint on the rangers, who effectively become their surrogate mothers. They will teach them the skills they need to become wild rhinos again. It's ironic that their lives now depend on the species that put them in this predicament.
So we walked around 1 kilometer every day.
Their day mimics life in the wild, getting used to the new terrain and covering important tasks like personal hygiene.
The climate is getting hot now, so the rhinos are going to have a mud bath. We actually have to take them once a day. Rhinos, they don't have sweat glands, so they cool the body temperatures down, and also there is some parasites like ticks. So when they cover their body by the mud, and later on they just rub against the tree to remove the ticks off.
And hope you can release after 4 to 5 years.
Raising a rhino here at Lewa is a balancing act. These are not pets. Keeping baby rhinos tame to protect them is not a solution. It requires tremendous resources to keep a captive animal, especially ones that can live into their 40s. And it's imperative they be returned to the wild to enrich the gene pool. The rangers know they will be releasing their little charges into a world fraught with dangers, and that includes danger from poachers. It's frustrating to them. Poaching is a human problem, and it has to be stopped by humans. Lewa's successful rhino program is great news for conservation efforts. But it's put the Conservancy and its staff into a much more dangerous situation.
When I started here, in terms of rhinos, that was less than 20 rhinos. As we speak today, we have 135 rhinos. There have been a lot of challenges, moving from security-wise from less than 20 security to 150 security.
Okay, so Charlie, we are coming back.
The rangers are armed with military-grade weapons, but anti-poaching at Lewa is not an offensive tool. It's meant to deter poachers, and especially locals, who are often recruited by gangs with the promise of a big payday. That could be more money than they'd see in a year. So when Head Ranger John Pomeri is looking for new rangers, he looks to the local communities.
In terms of recruitment in Lewa, when we're recruiting people, we target the communities around here.
A steady job and a solid income can mean one less person tempted by the poaching money, and one more convert to seeing healthy rhino and elephant populations as a resource for the community worth protecting. In Kenya, wildlife conservancies like Lewa have one central mission: to provide a safe habitat for the world's most vulnerable and endangered creatures. And now they are dealing with their most serious challenge. With demand for illegal ivory and rhino horns skyrocketing in Asia, poaching is at its worst level in over 30 years. The government of Kenya is taking this crisis very seriously. It has imposed stiff penalties for wildlife crimes. The government works closely with Lewa and several other conservancies in the region. They have partnered up to create an elite rapid response team. The team is capable of dealing with the growing threat, not just to the conservancy, but all across northern Kenya. It is well armed, well trained, and very well equipped. The goal for this elite unit is not to engage and destroy the enemy on the front lines in an all-out war. The hope is that through a show of force, they can deter poachers completely. But all the arms in the world can't beat basic economics. Ounce for ounce, rhino horn is worth more than gold in the underground market. In a country where poverty is a major issue, poaching pays 6 months' salary for a single day's work. All you need is a gun and an opportunity. There are many people who are willing to risk their lives for that equation. With severe penalties for poaching rhino or elephants, the poachers are desperate not to get caught. They won't hesitate to kill a ranger, and that desperation adds another level of danger.
We have different firearms here. This one is from the government, being issued to our armed teams.
The elite team members don't have backgrounds in the military, but they have outside partners who provide regular training. The Kenyan government has accepted help from the British forces, who have sent experts to help train the rangers on advanced engagement and capture techniques. Tonight's exercise will include the latest in aerial and ground technology.
You know, the poaching gangs are becoming ever more sophisticated with the money that's involved in it. Through the 90s, there was a relatively quiet period. That now has escalated dramatically because of the escalation in the price of rhino horn in the Far East and the demand there. So it's been about as bad as it's ever been these last 4 or 5 years.
Let's just bring the scope back a bit.
We'll head off that way and then cut back this way.
Happy hunting?
Just do watch your feet.
Sam, a training specialist, leads a small team, playing the role of poachers. They'll emulate the real thing. Skilled, fast, and difficult to catch.
The poachers appear to be incredibly fast at getting a horn off, which is why this training is so important, that it's hopefully keeping us one step ahead of the game.
In this exercise, the poaching team stays put as long as it would take for a poacher to cut off a rhino horn.
And What we're going to do is fire off a few shots as though we were cutting off a horn, and then move out as though unaware that we have been located. Yeah, okay, go. Pass. There's the various teams here. They'll try and pinpoint it, and now they're going to try. They're in the process of setting up ambushes. Okay, we're going to start moving west now. Okay, guys, we're going to move on.
Once a shot is fired, it will take an average of about 40 minutes to escape the Conservancy. An eternity for the poacher. The blink of an eye for the ranger team.
Right! Cameraman, you follow Rickon.
We're just carrying on, heading sort of north.
They look for cover. But the point of this exercise is to provide no place to hide.
Okay, guys. They've got the laser on us now.
The use of the chopper provides a strong advantage. It can pinpoint the enemy, follow them, and communicate their position to the ground crew.
It's pointing right at us, so the guys can see a beam from further away.
With an aircraft, they can push the poachers to an ambush, making it easier for the rangers on the ground to nab them.
You're right after.
As a bonus, the shock and awe factor sends a clear signal for miles. Lewa's defenses are active. The poachers in this exercise are taken alive, which is an important tactic. If one of the poachers is killed, then another one will simply take his place. But if taken alive, they could lead the investigation to the middleman.
I got a blank right in the ear. Good. They did really well. It was good. It was all well organised.
If under pressure, poachers have two options: make a run for it or wait and hide. If they choose to hide, even a helicopter may not be able to find them. For that scenario, Lewa also has a less high-tech solution.
We have these two bloodhounds here, and they assist in tracking poachers. In the course of their duties, they work in park environments.
Like their human counterparts, these dogs require constant honing of their skills.
Today we are doing an exercise with the tracker dogs. We are going to set a poacher first, and then we are going to track and also test the dogs. Every day you have to use a new person because, you know, for the dogs, it has to get used to different scent, because if you use the same person for every day, it will be the same scent. And after putting the harness on, the dog will realize it's working time now.
Bloodhounds were originally bred as deer hunting dogs, but they are equally apt at tracking humans. With 200 million olfactory receptors, compared to 5 million for humans, these dogs are built for one specific task, and they don't disappoint. As part of the exercise, a scouting plane will try to provoke the poachers.
I've seen the aeroplane. Yes.
If anyone gets in their way, poachers often make the mistake of firing their weapons in an attempt to intimidate. But this only draws the dogs in. And then it's just a matter of time. These poachers can walk away. But Lewa's most valuable domestic species is ready for the real thing. It's another busy day at Kenya's Lewa Conservancy. In this current climate of aggressive poaching, rangers constantly monitor the welfare of all the Conservancy's endangered animals.
Okay, sasa.
A report has come in that a young elephant has entered the Conservancy with a wire snare around its leg. It's of great concern to Head Ranger Chilimo. He has called in the Kenyan Wildlife Service Mobile Vet Unit based at Lewa. This elephant is lucky that it was spotted by rangers. If it had not walked into the Conservancy and right past the rangers, it is likely the snare would not have been reported. The wire would have dug into the elephant's leg, creating a painful infection. Untreated, the young elephant would have died an agonizing death. The drug won't put the animal to sleep. It will just immobilize it so the team can work safely. The team is lucky. Even though these elephants are wild, they're habituated and don't mind the vehicles.
So we are just preparing a dart to immobilize an elephant to remove a snare on its right hind foot. We have to remove it because it will tighten as it goes along. And it can even cause very serious wounds.
The vet team begins to push the mother off. The risk to the team is enormous. Nothing is more dangerous than getting between a wild elephant and her baby. The elephant is now down. The mother looks on. She is confused and agitated, but is holding back at a distance. But at any moment, her instincts could kick in and she could charge the team.
They're just about 200 meters from us.
It remains a volatile situation. The wire is removed. It turns out to be a piece of fence wrapped around the baby's leg, and not a poacher snare. It's good news, but still poses the same danger to the animal, so it was crucial it was removed.
So we are not going to keep her any longer.
The Kenyan wildlife vet administers the antidote.
But it's okay, it looks stable. I'm sure they're waiting.
The little elephant begins to come around. After a moment to get its orientation, it shakes off the drug and goes back to its family. The group moves on. Back at the headquarters, their elephant troubles continue. An urgent call comes in. The details are sketchy. They're told that an elephant has been shot and severely injured in a village 3 hours outside of the Conservancy. A full elite team is dispatched. Once they're outside the boundaries of the Conservancy, all bets are off. They have to be prepared for anything. For Kenyan Wildlife Service head vet Matthew Mutinda, it's a different story. His concern is for the animal.
We are going to investigate and decide the course of action. If it's a treatable case, we're going to fix it.
As they approach, the mood gets somber. A Kenyan Wildlife Service Ranger unit is waiting for them. They lead Matthew to the elephant. This is where the elephant was shot. It collapsed here and crawled to where it now lays. This is everyone's worst fear. The elephant is in agony.
The guys just had a shot yesterday, and they came to investigate the shot, and they found an elephant.
Even for Matthew and the team who are used to seeing animals in distress, this is an awful experience.
Okay.
Matthew will have to make a quick decision.
Na tukipindua hata pande ile hawezi amuka. The animal is obviously suffering on its welfare. It's in a lot of pain, and you can clearly see where there's an entry wound. Sasa unajua ukiamua kupiga utapiga. But kama kuna kitu vile siko.
For Matthew, the decision is obvious. It won't be a happy ending.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's bad enough. It's broken. It's really badly hurt. Unfortunately, we have to pull it down, but we can't show it on camera. It's got to be done in respect for the animal, and we have to request now you guys have to leave so that we can do that.
For Chalimo, this is a terrible irony.
GPS?
He came here to save an animal, but will now have to kill one to end its suffering. However, before he does, the animal succumbs to its injuries. The rangers see death of animals on a regular basis, but this does not make this any easier for them. They take the loss to heart. With the agony of the animal over, the job now shifts to an investigation. Rangers learn the shooter is from the community, and they want to question him. The death of an elephant is taken very seriously in Kenya. If this is poaching, the shooter could face life in prison. Unfortunately, there is more bad news. The team from Lewa learns the elephant had a young baby. In the hours after the mother was shot, the baby was left unprotected and vulnerable. It was killed and eaten by hyenas this morning. It's tragic to think that although gravely wounded, she managed to outlive her baby. In a wildlife conservancy like Kenya's Lewa, there are a lot of good days when efforts to protect endangered wildlife are rewarded by the beautiful quiet of an African plain. But today has not been one of those days.
I was ready to euthanize the animal because it was in pain on welfare grounds, and before I did that, the animal died.
Even for the veterans, this was a tough one. Now it's time to get to the bottom of what happened.
Okay.
Penalties for poaching in Kenya are severe. In this case, the shooter is not denying he shot the animal, but claims it was self-defense.
It's hard to say until you do a post-mortem and retrieve a bullet.
It's tough to know what his intentions were. The facts are that several community members responded to the gunshot and reported it to authorities. But the shooter did not make any attempt to report it himself. So, they're left with the question, is the shooter telling the truth? Or did he simply come across an elephant and decide to take advantage? The rangers fear this opportunistic shooting represents a growing trend in poaching in Kenya. These one-off shooters know they can access low-level brokers, who then supply more organized poaching rings to move the ivory out.
Maybe each town you have a broker. The other people that are just sitting waiting to be delivered.
If they get caught, the penalty means serious jail time. But still, some feel that the financial windfall is worth the risk.
Most of the time, it's so difficult to get. In terms of arresting, you might not be able to arrest somebody red-handed.
If they are not caught in the act, they can return under the cover of darkness to remove the tusks. Unfortunately, this is not a clear-cut case and will likely take months to go through the court. KWS vet Matthew Mutinda is about to carry out a forensic post-mortem on the animal. The bullet needs to be retrieved to make sure it corroborates with the shooter's story and matches the weapon used. If not, there could be others involved.
In the process of doing the post-mortem, I was able to retrieve a projectile. We do not have any indication where the bullet would have come from, and investigations are going to go on.
The rangers now must face the grim task of removing the tusks. Unlike detusking, where a section of the tusk is removed, here the tusks, which extend deep into the skull, must be cut out. The ivory will be sent to Nairobi, where it will be placed in an ivory strong room. What will happen to them long-term is unknown. Kenya has a history of burning illegal ivory, but with stockpiles being worth millions of dollars, some countries are hesitant to destroy them. There is some debate that governments should sell these as legal ivory, cutting down the illegal black market trade and sending the profits back into conservation. The elephant carcass will be left where it fell. It is likely the community will return to retrieve the meat. The rest will be left to scavengers. This experience points to another important element in the ongoing fight to protect wildlife, convincing people who have so little that wildlife is worth far more to them alive than dead. As part of its mission, Lewa is working with the local people to get them to see wildlife, and particularly the dollars that come from tourism, as an asset. It starts in the schools.
We have some animals that people have never seen and they wish to see today. Tell me the difference between a black and white rhino.
These students rarely see or interact with wild animals like elephant or rhino, so they have no connection to the species. Lewa is working to change that.
So is this one a black or white rhino? White rhino. We've seen that white rhinos have a very big mouth, a very big head. The world has very few rhinos, and rhinos have been killed by human beings in search of the horns. How can we protect the animals? Is there anything that we can do? Most of the people that kill the animals, do they come from China to Lewa? The people that kill come from our neighborhood. So we need to inform them, we need to teach them, we also need to report.
Tukisikia mtu ameonekana, nyinyi ndio macho ya Lewa tukiwa. Sasa mifupa ya wanyama, who can guess which animal is this? Rhino, very good. This is a rhino skeleton, and we assembled the skeleton. It was shot dead by somebody within our village. And our main question is, are we happy to see skeletons of animals, or are we happy to see animals feeding, suckling their young ones? That is my question.
Education is just one piece of reaching out to the community and showing the benefits of conservation.
All of us have touched computers today, but not every child or not every school in this country have an access to the computer, and therefore the computers that we have today is all gotten from the animals that we are seeing today.
At the nearby Kilimani school, Lewa's assistance has made a major difference.
Before the intervention of Lewa, there was almost nothing in the school compound. There were old structures, there was nothing good in place. We were not secure. We feel as if the classrooms are going to fall on us. Lewa did great things for us. They started with the toilets and the school fence. The standard of hygiene has been improved. Minor elements like skin rashes are almost eradicated in our school, and we appreciate. It is because of wild animals that we are given these beautiful facilities. This has improved the life of this community, the life of my children.
On-site healthcare is another cornerstone of helping local people connect the dots. If their lives are good, it gives them the reasons to avoid the lure of the poacher's money.
We are here to offer them medical services and do the deworming to the young children. Lewa sponsors this program for giving the community medical services. It's very helpful for us to come to them because for them to walk to the district hospital, which is 59 kilometers from this place. Yeah, it's very far away. Every Friday we make sure we go to at least one village to offer them the outreach services, whereby we offer them medical services. The ones we can't manage, we take them with the ambulance, either to Lepara or to Lewa.
For the rangers of Lewa, the renewed poaching crisis is just a small part of their job. The rest of their time, it is rather routine, spent on the Conservancy grounds, tracking and monitoring the ever-growing rhino population. Under their care, the rhino population is thriving. Since its inception in 1983, Lewa's rhinos have grown from a handful to about 140 animals. The program has been so successful that Lewa has been able to contribute more than 30 rhinos to other conservancies for their breeding programs. And now they have a new addition to the rhino family, a 28-day-old male baby black rhino.
This boy was abandoned by her mother. He abandoned him overnight. They stood with the baby till morning. The guy, the rangers went, and he came with him to the boma.
Elias is one of 4 rangers who will share the duties of being the new rhino's surrogate mother.
Yeah, this guy is now like my kid. When I go back to my village, I talk about the baby rhinos, how I stay there during the day, overnight. So I give stories. They think they see it's a very funny story.
It will guide this little charge through the first 5 years of its life. Their goal is to teach him enough so he can become a wild rhino again. They will have help. Khalifi, this little rhino's biological brother, is here. He too was abandoned shortly after birth and has been under the care of the rangers. The baby imprinted over the first few days and now accepts the rangers as its surrogate mother. He remains close by their side 24 hours a day. Raising a baby rhino is a big commitment. It's a lot like raising a human child. The rangers are up early to make breakfast before waking up their charges. In the wild, a baby rhino will stay close to his mother for the first 3 years. And so the rangers simulate that. These rangers will be with this little guy for the next 5 years. For this short while, the rangers will sleep beside the rhino in this specially prepared shelter so they can be sure the baby stays safe and dry. It will stay there for the first 6 or 8 months of its life until it's big enough to join the other young rhinos. And they'll be together until the rhino is about 5, when it is ready to be introduced back into the wild. Like his brother, he will need to learn everything from the rangers. A wild male rhino has to know how to mark his territory and defend it. So the lessons for that skill start right away. Rhinos also need to be taught how to care for themselves. Their tough skin attracts ticks, and so this little guy needs to be taught the value of a good mud bath and other grooming routines. At night, the rangers bring the young rhinos back to the enclosure for another round of hand feeding.
Hop, hop. Neck. 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 Neck.
At just 1 month, this little rhino is still very dependent, and so it's back to the sleeping structure with one of the rangers for a cozy sleep. For the rangers caring for these little rhinos, it's a 24-hour-a-day job. And that reflects the level of commitment that all of Lewa's rangers bring to their job of protecting wildlife. While they see the worst deaths from illegal poaching, this part of their work is a reminder of the real joy that comes from this deep connection with this incredible species. And it underlines the need for all the work that goes on at Lewa. Whether it's conducting research to make sure the range for these animals is protected, to fostering community support for wildlife through education, medical care, and job creation, the staff at Lewa have had real successes so far. But there's still much more that needs to be done. And for the rangers who do everything from becoming surrogate mothers to performing like a small military in the face of renewed rampant poaching, the work doesn't stop. At Lewa, protecting wildlife is not just a job. It's a way of life.
When I see like 20 rhinos and today I see 35 rhinos, and I know definitely we can make it thousands of rhinos. We can make it 100,000 of rhinos in this country. So I'm just warning the people, the poachers, that to stop poaching, and we can turn this country to become something better than today. But if they don't do that, we are there to fight with them.
Hey Love Nature fans, be sure to like and subscribe to catch all our wild animal stories. Get closer to nature right here on YouTube.